Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle RO from CZT Ria Matheussen. I saw this one a while back. I thought I had to search. I thought for sure we did it, but I think I just played with it and went, yeah, okay, I can play that one later. I was gonna say I should. I'm not going to now because I'm recording this. I should save it for Tough Tangle Tuesday, but that's all right. There are plenty of others out there. And you know what? Honestly, it's not necessarily that tough. Now it depends on how you do it. Do take a look at the for more inspiration link for just that, more inspiration, and take a look at some of Ria's amazing samples. And I think, is that first one a sample or is it? Oh yeah, it has to be. I mean, yeah. Just take a look at it. It's just, oh wow. And the other ones too in the step out, just really really neat. Okay, so let's look at how to do it. All right, now for ease of a lot of things, I'm gonna just do 3 orbs. In Ria's, she did 4. Yeah, you know what? And I'm going to make this bigger. Bigger than I think. Starting in the middle. And then, you know what? And then 2 with this one. In my step out, I kind of have them close together. It's up to you however you want to have them, of course. But you can have a lot of fun with it. And let me turn this here. I'm going to leave a little bit of room. And you can see just how by the end you will see just how much it doesn't matter how consistent your orbs are or anything. You too can do this tangle. All right, now in my version of the step out, which is in the description section, as well as the link to Ria's, I did separate out some of the steps because I needed to do it for me. So just to let you know that. And so we'll start here. Going to use the takeoff and land concept. And gosh, this one is really off. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Now, I've been using the takeoff and land concept a lot lately, it seems, but just in case this is the first time that you've heard it, what it means is that, thinking of a plane, right? We have a little runway, so that's our takeoff. So tracing over this orb, and it's, well, I use it with in straight lines too, but tracing over a little bit of where it's coming from. And then this one is different because we're not really landing on this orb. Normally that's what you would do. We're going to land outside of, but just having the concept down, I think, is helpful, at least so that way for some consistency. Okay, so I'm going to go S shapes. That's for the most part, no, at least these first couple steps, that's what we're doing. So coming from the top left orb, and then I'm going to take off. I'm doing the S shape and stopping it. If you can eyeball about even, that seems to be helpful. At first I was kind of going over. I was like, no, just try it. Stop it at the even point. And we're going to do this for this whole top row. And then also, and let me look. Nope, she kind of cuts over about like how I did. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, that's where it's going. Something to think about is, and after you try it, you'll see. We want to think about how far of an aura do you want to have around the orb. So like when I'm coming down, it's like, okay, and then as I'm slightly curving, but again, stopping close to what's even here, but kind of having, keeping in mind that space. All right, and let's do this. And throughout that's just something to keep in mind of that. Okay, now turn your tile, with 180 degrees. Same thing, rinse and repeat. And then here is where it's, you'll really see, that I have, this distance. So especially if you want to work to keeping it consistent. Why doesn't that look right? is right. I don't know why it doesn't look right. It is. Because there's stuff here already. That's why. Okay. All right. So like that. Then, now this one I did put both steps in the same step because it worked for my eyeballs and my brain. So I'm like, well, we'll just leave it. And sometimes I just get too weird about, oh no, we need to have every step separately. And sometimes, most times I should say, it is for me so that way I can figure out the tangle and feel like I'm doing it right. So this next step is still kind of an S shape, but what we're going to do is we're going to aura this side, stop here, come around, and aura that side. And you could try to keep them consistent. And looking at Ria's, and it's going to depend on how close these are together. Hers, let's try another one. Hers kind of curves a little bit, kind of like this. And then here, picks it up like that. This is one that you really, especially these tougher ones like this, that have a lot of hullabowing and things in it. You just have to play with it for a bit, and okay, here's how this feels, here's where this goes. Oh, I need to make this curve, maybe aim down a little bit like this one, so that way it looks continuous. All those kind of things, you play with and and have fun. All right, next. And this one too, I separate out just so it's easier to see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, because what we want to accomplish is finishing this aura, because right now it just looks cut off, right? So we're going to finish this aura. And wait a minute, is that the right way? Hold on, let me look. I don't know that it matters, quite frankly, but I do want to get it. Yeah, that's okay. All right. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to continue this up and around and off the page. Now, this is where I thought it was important to separate, because you want to, for the top row, you want to start here, because whatever the leftmost one is, because then this one is going to meet that one, and this one, you're coming up and around, and is going to meet that one. So if we start here, sure, you can make it work, but and it'd be different if we were just making like a straight line, but we're not. And you can see in Ria's, there is just that little dip, in between. Okay. Then flip, same idea. And look at that. Just going with it. It's all good. Like so. Okay. Now. Similar idea on the next step. Except, this one, it really doesn't matter where you start, because let's see, where is it? Yeah, because here we're going to, and this is still take off and land. I should have mentioned it here, because that, it actually, see these little bumps? It helps to avoid those when, look at them all down here too. We can fix that with some course correction, but it does help to avoid that. And so we're going to do that here too. So we're going to take off and land, and like so. And hitting that top. Now, if you missed that, if you kept this, I should have mentioned this when we did it. I would err on the side of too short, because you can always fill in that gap, versus too long. See, like that one is just a hair short, and we can very carefully just meet that up. All right, and this one, same thing. Now, ideally, it would probably be good to have these be about the same distance, but you know what? It's Zentangle. It's okay. Whatever ends up happening, happens, and it's all good. All right, same thing here. blah. And here. And there. Shading will help a lot, let me tell you. And decorating. Now, here, because this is essentially it. That is it. And it, like I said, it just looks so neat. Now, one of the things to note when you're looking at Ria's samples is she is decorated inside here. So that is one way, with course corrections. So you could put, like, I think in one, it looks like she's got the Tangle Doodah inside. It's, again, it's completely up to you. You could, depending on how much space, you could put just, some little lines, like aura, the outside, if you want to. I think one thing I'm going to do, yeah, she kind of has done that. You could turn these into print hump, or you could just fill them in, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to, and I'm adding a little shine. And if you've not seen this way of adding some shine without having to worry about, having a white pen, but if you do, like I'm using the Zentangle tile, a bijou size, and it's kind of an off-white. So if I was to add a white gel pen to it, it's still a little bit more brilliant, but this is a way to do it, without having to worry about any of that. Then, too, while you're doing that, so like this one, I'm going to do these ones up here first, maybe save that to last and see if I can course correct that to make the size match. And then I have another idea for some of the other. But this, so you make these little spaces bigger than you think. And then with the pen, I just kind of, I feel like I'm slicing away at it, but just tracing over the edge, and it just kind of pares it down a little bit. It takes away the white because you're adding more black. And so do them bigger than you think. And this, like I say, I come about this far, finish it here, fill in all of this, and then make that last bit more of a crescent, sure. Oh, like that. It's all good. Maybe do the bigger ones first. But I like to find ways to do stuff with minimal tools. As many, tools, pens and pencils and things that I have. One of the neat things about Zentangle is you don't have to have a lot of stuff. So if I can work towards not having a lot of stuff, and especially, for something like this, because I don't know what everybody has. If we use all kinds of fancy stuff, then that's, I don't want to do that. All right, so this one I mentioned, I want to course correct this a little bit bigger. We'll make that shine there. Let's come around the outside. And when you're making something bigger like this overall, you just have to be careful that, so like as I did it, I went with the line, and I put the line, and I went right in here to kind of like take off and land idea still. But that way it ends up working just fine. Okay, last one. Actually, like this one, I have this gap here. And let's go a little bit bigger on the outside. Merge it right into that line that's there. And I also like to share this stuff because, the whole idea of Zentangle, it's really not about replicating what, a tangle or what somebody else did. I enjoy replicating. I randomness and just doing stuff off the cuff is not my cup of tea in a lot of arenas. So I really enjoy that. But at the same time, it is really nice to also know that, you know what, if you don't get it exactly, it's okay. It's all right. And then it's like, okay, now what can I do to make me happy with it? And that's where I come up with, I like to use the term course correction versus, fixing mistakes. But no, it's just a course correction. That's all it is. And there's some things that are maybe just not necessarily fixable, and that's all right. One thing that I'm going to do, because I have these little bumps, is I'm going to use the technique of rounding, which is just, I'm going to do it backwards here. See, rounding, putting a little curve line in the corner, and you can take that as, here's a nice one. See, like that. And, you know what? Before I go any further, one of these times I'm going to remember it quicker. Where are you? Nope, that's a 01. Oop, here, I think you are. Yes. Use my 005 to do that. Although this one has a little bit of a bent tip, but it still should be all right. I can't remember what tangle it was or what we were doing, and see, like, this is so bent that it almost, if I'm just real careful with it, it almost looks as thick as the 01. But somewhere I read or something, and they mentioned go using a smaller size for rounding, and because it does seem to blend in easier versus using the same size nib. And that's where I get all these little bumps. So even though this one, like I said, I when I'm using too heavy of a hand and I end up mashing the tip, I don't know, let's see if you can even, can you see it? I don't know if you can. It's so small, but it's just bent a little bit. And so that makes it thick when I'm hitting that side. But anyway, I thought that was a really brilliant idea, and it if I just remember to do it, it does seem to work really well, and then I don't have all these extra places, because I'm trying to fix these little bumps like that, not add more. So this you can kind of do to any corner. Look at how neat that looks, though. It adds something, and then even if there's still some of the little bumps that I don't like, they're disguised, and it's all good. Let's make this a little smoother. That's something too, is if you're use a little bit thinner nib than what you have, and then you can just kind of trace over a little bit of what you've done, redefine the lines. And you could redefine the lines just period, and that as long as you're careful. Let me use that caveat. As long as you're careful, then that can also help. I see one that I need to add in here. And I decided not to do those because there's not that much of a bump. But who knows, I might go back and change my mind. Okay, so I'm not going to put any tangles in. That is up for you to have that fun. But for shading, one thing that I like to do is think about, okay, where things... I'm breaking my rules here. I know somebody's yelling. If you are, good, thank you. One thing I learned is put the tip of the pencil, same thing goes with the Tortillion, on, I think of it as on the line that I don't want to cross. Rick Roberts, co-founder of Zentangle, has said where you want the line the darkest, that's where you put the tip of your pencil. And then also the Tortillion, either way you want to think about it, it does both things. It helps you to not go over. And then also it does keep the, where you want it the darkest, where it's meeting there, keeps it right there. And of course you can have this come down just as much as you want. All right, let's do these others. I thought this would be a fun one to do now, and I may throw some others in similar. being that it is March and still before St. Patty's Day. And so we always think, so I thought, well, let's do I want to add some Celtic knotty type tangles. And I do, by the way, have a playlist. If you want to look at some of these, if you below the video, if you click on my name or my picture, it'll take you to the homepage of the channel. Look at how that is already. All right, let's do these ones here because these are tucked under there. I do have a playlist. I think I have one called Celtic Knotty. There might be. I don't remember. Maybe it was just last year. I did. Was it like 7 days to St. Patty's Day or something like that? And I didn't think about it until too late this time. I think I might just leave that one as it is. But I thought, well, this will be great, and we'll throw some in there as we're going here. This and some others, some other St. Patty's Day inspired tangles to add it to those lists. Okay, did I hit all of the places where it's tucked under? Yeah, because see, here's an additional thing, really. And then so sometimes doing it and then looking at it afterwards, because even looking, okay, yeah, so this is what's interesting. So when I'm looking at Ria's samples, I see, thinking of this S, or thinking of this in between, I see on hers, she has it going where it really looks like it's continuous that way. On mine, it's kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of loops up and behind and kind of ties into here, and and this kind of goes into here, and I don't know. I mean, it's one of these that you can just look at and think, okay, what direction is this or that going? And like I said, it's just rather neat. Taking a look, trying it first, go back and forth, so you can say, well, maybe I need to angle, these, okay, probably down a little bit more or something, so that way, it has more of that look where it's curving down. And actually, doing that rounding probably didn't help the illusion of that, but at the same time, it just doesn't matter. I like it. So, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, please click on the like button. And if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. So while you're clicking, you can click there as well. I mentioned the description section several times, so check that out. Below the step out links there it will be a link for my link tree, and that link takes you to all of my social media, website link, so you can follow my blog there, Facebook page. You follow me for classes and other fun stuff, daily tangle like this. There's a couple other places if you're interested in taking classes or session tangling with other people, because I do teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays in Michigan time, 11 a.m., 7 p.m. And at this time of year, you have to mind the time changes. So just make sure to take an extra look at what it says. Because on Facebook and the couple other places that I post classes, it does adjust for where you should see it in your time zone, and then should also automatically adjust for when the time changes and all of that. But just this time of year, take an extra look and make sure it's at the right time for you. But yeah, come and join us. A lot of them are free. Thursdays are free. Tuesdays, there's one free Tuesday. That's Tough Tangle Tuesday, and it's the third Tuesday of the month. And the other ones do have a fee, or it's a club member exclusive. So you can check out the club. You can on my website you can see what types of classes that I do. If you really want to, you could purchase the replay. So if you really want to wished you had taken a class and you see it, you can. And it's just a live replay. And I don't make. I do my very best to not make any edits. The only thing that it would be is to cut off extra rambling at the end or maybe at the beginning. That's about it. So it will be like you're there. Let's see what else. I think that's it for now. So with that, thank you again so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.